Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix playthrough. It is time for more extras, and this time we're going to be enjoying some delightful new missions in the Mirage Arena. We are beginning with Master or Monster of the Sea, which is one of the additional arena missions that was added to Final Mix, and basically it allows you to take down Monstro, which I have to say, absolute delight, because obviously in the original Kingdom Hearts and subsequent games, Monstro was always an irritant in terms of fighting inside him. Always one of the sort of least favourite areas, really. But to actually have him as an actual boss fight, oh, it's great. I can't remember whether Dream Drop Distance has a boss fight against Monstro, but I believe that technically, well, definitely in terms of Japanese releases, I think, don't know about Western releases because I can't remember Dream Drop Distance all that well. But this was the first time the players had ever gotten to take down Monstro, and it's great fun, because there are a grand total of, I believe it's 8 rounds that you can go through. You can finish this in a lot quicker time than that, but you're given 8 rounds to defeat Monstro. You always begin inside Monstro, tackling a number of them first, and then you have 3 minutes to try and beat Monstro down. The way that you do this is by flinging these delightful barrels into Monstro and knocking off quite a nice bit of health every time. After so many, you will eventually stun him, and that's ultimately when you've got to go in hard on getting your damage in. What you're seeing here was my first attempt at taking down Monstro, and I was very uncertain of exactly the process that I had to go through in order to take him down. So there's very much a case of just learning as I go. But as I got further and further into playing this particular mission, because in order to get the stuff that I needed, I thought that I had to get more medals, and once you've gotten this down, this is actually a relatively quick mission for you to do. Like, you can quite easily get it done in, I want to say about 5 minutes. Maybe a bit longer than that. Well, actually, no, it would be a bit longer than that, because it's generally going to be at least 2 cycles of Monstro himself. So that's easily 6 minutes there. But you can get through this relatively quickly. I'm going pretty slow in the grand scheme of things, but once again, this was my first time playing this, and I was actually really enjoying myself, because obviously when I first played Birth by Sleep, I hadn't necessarily, well, I didn't, and I know I didn't, really do much in the Mirage Arena. So it was one of the things that was very different, and not something that I had really experienced all that much before. And so actually then getting to do something that was actually 100% completely new, wasn't in the game that I had originally, was just really exciting. And I absolutely loved that, because it then just made things more interesting, I suppose, in a way. Because it gave me that new perspective. It's the same as, obviously, the absolute delight that was the secret episode. I'd never had that before, and that was really fun to experience for the first time. And it's just great. Although this particular round is not as fun because you've got poison in the ground, and obviously that's going to constantly hurt you because you can't really avoid it all that much. And that's just irritating, but thankfully there's not too many enemies to take down in this particular round. And as long as you are just leaping here, there and everywhere, you should be relatively okay in terms of taking them down. But pretty much what you want to do whenever you're doing this particular round, well, this particular mission in the Mirage Arena, is get through these as quickly as is humanly possible, because I'm pretty sure that in order to get the bonus you need to beat the level in under a set amount of time. So these are the bits that will take you longer, because when you're actually facing down Monstro, you are on a strict time limit that ticks down. So you want to go through as few rounds as possible to defeat Monstro and get through these particular sections as quickly as possible. And pretty much, yeah, you're going to be dealing with at least 2 rounds before you fully manage to take down Monstro. I think unless you happen to be much higher level, I suppose if you got up very high levels, then you stand much more of a chance at taking Monstro down a lot more quickly. So obviously if you're dealing damage, then you're just going to get that extra those extra hits in, and that's going to be great. And thanks for, you know, leaping back at me, Monstro. The only thing that I'm not too fond of with this particular fight against Monstro is that because he's so large and he darts around the area so much, he can be very hard to keep track of, and that can be very frustrating. Because then you're just like, well, Monstro, can you just be where you need to be for me, please? That would be nice. And also sometimes he doesn't always play ball. And then he does things like this, where he just appears, and really, being in Sky Climber is terrible for this particular fight. Because you need to be as close to the ground as possible in order to get your dodge on. But yeah, this first time fighting Monstro was not as excellent as I wish it had been. But hey, these things happen and you live and you learn. Also, I just, everything decided it was going to miss after I'd gotten so close. I was just like, come on, I'm nearly there, and then, yeah, just no. And then, like, as you can see, I'm down to the last health bar. It's like, I'm so close, all I need to do is stun him one more time. But then, because I'd, been a little bit more reckless, I had just completely, destroyed all of the barrels, and so when they did respawn, he was either he was too far away for me to get any hits in, and then he'd just do moves that just sort of stop me from actually getting anywhere. So yeah, we're gonna have to go 3 rounds with Monstro before I can actually defeat him this time. But in most instances, yeah, you only need 2 rounds against Monstro to take him down. I was just being really, really rubbish. And at this point it's just like, right, I am so close. I am just shot-locking my way through this. Although, lightning ray, I think because the totem pole enemies were in lightning form, they just didn't take as much damage as I would have liked. And then magic owl was just, at least it felt like it was pretty useless right there. Yeah, this gets more difficult as you go along, so you do really want to take it down, take monster down as soon as possible. You do not want to be in these latter, more difficult rounds, because just think about what happens when even more of the floor disappears. Oh god. Thankfully, I think this is the furthest I have ever ended up being in this mission, so at least there's that. Right. That's that dealt with, so Monstro, you are so close to death right now. Can you just, you know, pop your clogs and die now, please? Like, that would be nice. Just all I need you to do is just die. Like, or even just get stunned just the once. I don't need anything too much. Just one death would be nice. And yeah, key there. Don't actually get into the water. But if you can manage to chuck a barrel into him whilst he is there, then you can do some good stuff. And come on! Oh, I just need you to die already, Monstro. Stop making this more painful than it already is. There we go, thank God. Otherwise that just would have been really embarrassing. I mean, it already was quite embarrassing, but it would have just been even worse, you know? I mean, yeah, there you see. You meant to do it in under 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It was definitely not under 7 minutes and 30 seconds, but it's another challenge defeated. And we've got another finish command. Great! So now let's level that one up, I suppose. I mean, it's one of the things that I did find to be quite fun throughout taking on these other bits of the Mirage Arena, was challenging myself with those other, like trying to get all the finish commands. Because then, you know, you get to see more of them and it works. But yes, harsh punishment is, I think, actually no. Harsh punishment can be difficult, because you're taking on another version of the Iron Prisoner. I believe it's Iron Prisoner 3 for this particular one. And how the hell did you stun me? My words. This is also potentially a difficult one in order to get more medals in, because the challenge is tough as nails, which is heal, I think it's 3 times or less. So you've got to be really careful with your health throughout this, which, I mean, like, seriously, that is always a challenge, but especially when you throw in some of the more annoying enemies and also the Iron Prisoner, that just ends up being an absolute pain in the backside. But yes, we are going to be in the Mirage Arena for the foreseeable future, let me tell you now. And it's because there are actually quite a lot of... Oh, that... I was about to go on and say more stuff about the Mirage Arena, but I'm just saying, my god, Thundaga shot right there just absolutely wrecked all of those bruises. Like, I knew it was a good move, but bloody hell, that's the way you use Thundarber Shot. Like, seriously. But yes, there are a lot of challenges for you in the Mirage Arena. I don't believe I'm going to be showing off my Mirage Arena attempts at the command board or Rumble Racing. At least I'm pretty sure I don't. Because you've already seen all of them, or you do not need to see them again. But whilst I was doing this, because the way that I believe I have mentioned this before, but it's worth saying again, whilst we're doing this main chunk of Mirage Arena extras, the way that you unlock more missions in the Mirage Arena is by completing more things in the Mirage Arena. So pretty much if you want to get everything, you need to beat every single battle mission, you need to win every single command board, and you need to win every single Rumble Racing track. Once you've done all of that, the only things that you've really got left that you can do to level up are collecting medals, and pretty much your best way of doing that is going to be going into some of those battles, mostly the ones where you know that you can easily get that bonus multiplier, because that way you are just going to be doing more each time. And once you've kind of gotten to like the max medals you can get in here, that's when you'll unlock the final 2 ultra difficult challenges, which I'm not going to show off in this playthrough because, as I have said, I'm just really bad at one of the super difficult bosses in the game. And if I'm bad at one of them, then there is absolutely no hope for me in taking down the 2 that are in the Mirage Arena, because they're even harder. Basically what happened with that situation is that the original PSP game came out in Japan, and I believe that the only optional boss that was present was in the Keyblade Graveyard, which we will be seeing. When it came to do the Western release, they included a brand new optional boss who you can face down in the Land of Departure. Then, because obviously Japan hadn't gotten that boss fight, when they came to do the final mix release, they included that one, but then they also introduced 2 brand new optional boss fights, but they were restricted entirely to the Mirage Arena. And they were even more difficult than that. So basically they just increased in difficulty as they went through the versions of Birth by Sleep, which, I mean, I'm okay with, but the bosses are, I would argue, on the slightly cheap side of challenging. Like, particularly, well, all of them, really, because all of them have really infuriating moves. And yeah, I think I would have an easier time with all of them if I were around like level 70, which is pretty much consistently throughout the KH series been sort of the decent level to be to take on optional boss fights. It was the case in the original Kingdom Hearts, although I think I did manage to get some, actually all of them done in sort of the mid-60s. But that's because I've managed to get up towards that, doing all the stuff that was required. Whereas when it came to Kingdom Hearts 2, I'm pretty sure I finished that game around level, like, around the 40s, when there's then actually not that much to do outside of the more challenging things, but you can't do them until you're around well, you'll struggle to do them until you're around like the level 70 mark. And so you end up in that situation where it's just like, well, not too much of a fan here. And then obviously the same situation occurs here. But yes, here we go, the Iron Imprisoner 3. He is definitely a challenge. Basically, you do not want to get hit by that move because it's absolutely deadly. And it's terrifying. But basically, if you make use of Triple Faraga for definite, or if you can pull off a Rhythm Mixer command, then pretty much, or even, you know, actually pull off a shot lock, that will do you a whole lot of good. And pretty much that's the way that you're going to win, because I mean, look at this. This is what Rhythm Mixer does to bosses like this. It just absolutely destroys them. And then obviously Triple Faraga as well is just beautifully deadly. And will definitely be the way I get through the most challenging regular Mirage Arena mission. And, I know I healed 2 times more than I should have done, but hey! I don't really care. But yes, we've got another one, and it is A Time to Chill. Which I'm sure you can tell exactly what the boss at the end of this one's going to be. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, the Mirage Arena is basically just what Olympus Coliseum was in both Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, because both of them had more tournaments after the basic ones that you had to face in the story. And they're also the site of super secret optional bosses. Not necessarily so much in Kingdom Hearts 2, although there were some secret optional bosses that you could take in them, in taking on some of the Final Fantasy characters. Like that was where you were able to fight Tifa and Squall and Cloud and Yuffie and so on and so forth. Very much like you could face Leon and Yuffie and Cloud in the Kingdom Hearts 1 Olympus Coliseum. And actually, now that I think about it, KH1, KH2 and KH Birth by Sleep are the only games in the series, as far as I can tell, that actually have this sort of battle arena type side area, whether it be part of the main story world or not. Because Chain of Memories certainly has nothing like it. I mean, it's too weird of a game to do that. 358 over 2 days is just entirely mission based, and there's nothing extra outside of that. You then got Coded, which once again that's very similar to Chain of Memories in that it's very limited in what it can actually pull off. And then you've got Dream Drop Distance, which just chooses not to have anything like it. It does have an optional boss, which is more than can be said for Chain of Memories, 358 for 2 days, and Coded, which I don't think any of them actually have secret optional bosses. And oh look! We get to take on Zack and Hades at once! But once again, Rhythm Mixer to the rescue. And this is clearly being incredibly risky, and that was immediately the moment of, yeah, let's just get the hell out of dodge, because clearly I'm not actually getting anywhere. And then, come on, Hades. There we go. I'm air juggling you. Take this. Oh, that was super satisfying. And I like how it comes like right in the middle of it as well. It's just like, yes, let's make this a little bit more exciting, hey? And oh, I'm actually going to be able to get to use Sky Climber a little bit more how it's supposed to in terms of hitting multiple enemies rather than just one random one that just happens to be in the way. I will say though, still very much more into Rhythm Mixer. That's pretty much the command style that I think most people would say is one of the, well, one of the most broken, I suppose, would be the way that a lot of people would look at it, but one of the most powerful is how I look at it. And I'm totally okay with that. But yes, we are going to be here. It's Sky Climber again! Good grief! Well, I suppose we'll use it whilst we've got it. It's one of the command styles that hasn't really had that much usage throughout the course of the playthrough, so give it a little bit of something, eh? But yes, pretty much the main gist of the next few parts is just going to be this and fighting. So I'm definitely going to have to go deep into my Kingdom Hearts lore in order to find some lovely stuff to discuss. Because otherwise I am definitely going to go slightly out of my mind if I haven't already. I mean, as I always do say, when I start to get towards the end of longer playthroughs, I just go slightly wacky. The brain just ceases to function normally, it seems. And it's because, you know, I've run out of major conversation topics. And so I'm just going, scramble, 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 help! Because, you know, I've talked about it on the channel before of I don't do well with small talk. And I particularly struggle whenever like a conversation begins to stop and die out, because my brain just, it doesn't know where to go. And so that's why whenever I'm doing a commentary, I always ramble when I get to these moments, because I have nothing to say, but then while, you know, there's always time to leave a little bit of quietness, you don't want to just have it be complete and utter silence, because otherwise, you know, what's the point listening to a commentary? It's all these mixture of things that come into play. It's crazy. But we are finally at the end of this particular mission, so this is good. Hello once again, the Ice Colossus, and yeah, I don't think he's going to make it very far, because we have a rhythm mixer, and yeah, like, over half his health. Like, I think we're pretty much okay on this fight. He's really not that difficult in the slightest. And you look at the amount of damage I took when I was taking down Hades earlier, and then you look at this and you're just like, wow. But there we go, another Mirage Arena mission completed. Time to move on to even more. Let's go!